What's going on, Total Drama viewers? Yeah, we're trying something new. This is Total Drama My Island My Way. I got kind of bored of the what ifs, so I decided to shake things up. So yeah, I'm sorry if I get this wrong. This is the first My Way I've ever done. I don't even know what the technicalities I could do for this, if I can change certain events or not, because this is, if I get things wrong, I'm sorry. I don't know the limitations to in My Way, just saying. But yeah, episode 2. Oh yeah, by the way, the teams are a little different. Only difference I had is that Izzy and Katie, they still haven't swapped teams. That'll be important. Episode 2, Ezekiel still gets voted off. I think that's a fine elimination. Episode 3, Eva still gets voted off because of Heather. Still a fine elimination. Episode 4, instead of Harold bringing the bass to victory, I'm going to have Tyler bring the bass to victory. Because Harold winning it for his team 2 times in a row, that just didn't sit right. So we're going to have Tyler have a moment of his own. And Screaming Gophers, you think they'd vote off Noah, but Noah's actually going to participate in the game and not be an idiot. This is my way. I think that's one of the things you're allowed to do. Like I said, this is the first My Way I've ever done. Sorry if I doing this wrong. By the way, comment down below if you want me to do action, because I feel like action is much more better My Way than Island. But anyways, they're going to vote off Katie because she kept whining about not being on Sadie's team. Episode 5, the talent show. What's going to happen is it's still going to be the same people, but Noah's going to see Heather grab Gwen's diary and be like, ooh. Heather's going to be like, shut up. Noah's going to be like, relax, I'm not a snitcher, but you do owe me a favor for this. We'll settle the details out later. Killer Bass are still going to win because of Harold. One thing to note in the Killer Bass is Sadie's going to be whining about the fact that Katie didn't go home yet, and that fact that Katie did go home. And for the Screaming Gophers, one of the big problems with this season is how, Heather can convince Owen to vote Justin out, but I have a theory. Lashana, Gwen, and Trent are all going to vote out Heather. Lindsay, Beth, and Noah are going to vote out Justin, because that would be part of the deal Heather and Noah made. And Heather's going to convince Cody. He knows he can't convince him to vote out Trent, but he's going to convince him to vote out, Justin. He knows he can't convince Cody to vote out Justin, but she's going to convince him to vote out Trent. So that's one vote for Trent, which means, and the reason they're voting out Heather instead of Trent is because this is what Noah wanted, because he sees that Noah has a crush on Owen, and this could be bad, because in the past couple episodes, Noah and Owen's friendship has been starting to build up. So Noah's going to be able to convince Owen to vote against Justin because of their friendship, because he's going to be like, it's either him or me. Make your choice, man. So they're going to vote out Justin, and Owen's going to be sad, but he still did it. And we move on to episode 6, the camping episode. Instead of Izzy doing her, bear thing on the bass, he's going to do it to Duncan. And this is going to be while Duncan is telling a story. She's going to scare the heck out of them. And Duncan's going to think that's awesome. So they still lose. They're going to lose, though, because of this. Because it's going to attract the real bear. Meaning they lose sleep, and Screaming Gophers are going to win. But when it comes down to elimination, Duncan's going to think Izzy's trick is so cool that he's going to vote against Sadie, since she's been whining about the fact that Katie has been gone, and they're getting tired of it. So Duncan, I feel like Jeff would agree with him. DJ probably. Courtney would want Izzy out, since she was terrified by that. Bridget would be sad for Sadie, and want her and Katie to reunite. Tyler would probably vote out Izzy. Harold would probably vote out Izzy. But Izzy's safe from elimination, and Sadie gets the boot. Having 2 characters like Sadie and Katie who are completely filler was probably supposed to be a necessary thing to happen when you only have a limited amount of characters and one person has to go each episode because they're just filler characters. But yeah. Episode 7, this is the phobia challenge. Still think the Killer Bass is going to lose here because of Courtney. But instead of voting out Tyler, they're going to vote out Izzy, just because she's like crazy and she does crazy things, and because Tyler won them the dodgeball game, proving his worth to the team, and the fact that he actually did his challenge, which like should have counted, but it didn't. Well, I guess in this universe it did. So they're going to vote out Izzy because she's crazy. And in episode 8, this one is the Boney Island trip. This one's where Izzy originally gets eliminated. Now that Izzy's gone, she can't really rely on the Killer Bass team to like push the paddles. Harold's still gonna throw them into the fire. DJ's gonna push the boat. He's still gonna win it for his team, which means Screaming Gophers have to vote someone off. And this is where Noah wants his revenge. This is where Noah makes his deal with Heather. He's going to say that he wants Cody out because Cody has been making it with Gwen, and he's been building a friendship with Owen, and the fact that he can like do all these incredible things, like he was really good in the dodgeball game, he was able to swim across a rope, he's getting pretty popular, so it would be good to get him out. So Heather agrees with him, and with their alliance, it's normally like Gwen, Shauna, and Trent, they would vote out Heather, but Noah, Beth, and Lindsay would vote out Cody, and I feel like Noah, don't really know if he would be able to convince Cody, but I think he would be able to convince him to vote out someone else, maybe someone like Beth, and it would be tie between Heather and Cody, and Heather would beat Cody. But Cody will remember that for later seasons, and how Heather cost him the game, and while rewatching the footage, how Noah technically cost him the game. By the way, if you want me to like do an action, comment down below, like if you want me to keep the continuity of the My Way for Island going into action. Episode 9, this one is the deer hunting challenge. Still think the Killer Bass are going to win. Oh yeah, one thing to mention, episode 8, Beth does not get the statue, so the cursed thing does not happen, since that was really dumb and really contrived to get Beth eliminated. But yeah, so in episode 9, they're still gonna lose. Beth wants to stand up to Heather, but Noah's gonna convince him not to. Because as Beth's getting her chips, Noah's gonna be like, "Come on, Beth, you can't get out of that alliance. Don't you want to make it to the final 3 with her?" And Beth's gonna realize Noah might be right, just for a little while. For now, she's gonna agree with him. And the person they're gonna vote out in this challenge, I feel like Heather's going to want to get rid of LaShawn since she's really close with Gwen. So the votes would be Noah, Trent, and it doesn't, well, if Owen gets a tie, I think Noah would be able to convince Owen to vote against, and Heather would just threaten him. So that's 3 votes against Heather, 5 votes against LaShawn, and even if you want to contrive that it's a tie, I mean, this is My Way, so once again, I don't really have like a boundary in how this thing works. Episode 10, the cooking challenge. This one's pretty simple. Screaming Gophers is still going to lose, but this is where Beth stands up to Heather. She's going to be getting all mad at her, and Gwen's going to support her. She's going to throw her makeup into the fridge. She's going to get locked in there instead of Lindsay. She's going to stand up. She's going to be like, "Heather, you little..." And then she's going to start like getting real mad at her. Gwen's going to be on Beth's side. But yeah, they're still going to lose, and because Owen ate the ribs, Heather wants to get rid of Owen, but behind Noah's back, because also Noah's starting to get more of a threat, and since like these teams are dwindling little by little, so she's going to want to get rid of Owen, so she's still going to have Lindsay on her side to do it. They're going to want to get rid of that Heather, but like they're going to realize that Owen ate all the ribs, so I feel like a few of them would vote out Heather. Noah, they're going to be saying that they're going to vote out Trent, so Noah would vote out Trent, but Owen gets eliminated, and Noah says their deal is off. They are now enemies. Get ready, Heather, because Noah is coming. Episode 11, this is like the one where there's like 5 parts of the challenge. So the first part with Gwen and Heather and DJ and Duncan, they're still going to win. Then it's Bridget and Jeff and Lindsay and Trent. Bridget and Jeff are still going to win. Then it would be Tyler and Courtney and Noah and Beth, which I feel like Tyler would fail out of the both of them. Then it's Harold and Bridget and Heather and Lindsay. Lindsay drops Harold. Harold catches Bridget. So it's tied up. And then when it comes down to the challenge, they're going to race across. He's going to find the bunny. The killer bastard's still going to lose. And when it comes down to elimination, Courtney's going to be mad at Tyler for messing up the apple thing. So they're going to vote out Tyler. Tyler had a little bit more of a season. He will be better if I do like a what if of world tour or something. Episode 12. This one was the basic training. Same thing. Screaming Gophers win. Harold rigs the votes against Courtney. He probably would, instead of like doing a voter box, it's never been like shown in the show before. He'd probably do like, he would rig like their voices and mess around with the audio. Episode 13, the Extreme Sports Challenge. The first part is still going to be Trent and DJ. The second part, I think it's going to be Beth and Jeff. And we've seen Beth's experience with like hunting down people and like being able to like stay on top of her, like with the spinning challenge, like the space challenge in action, and in the aftermath in season 3 when she was able to hunt down like the disguised killer from the London challenge. So I feel like Beth would win this overall. So it's tied up, and it comes down to Lindsay and Duncan and Heather and Harold. Except this time, since it's in my way, Heather still gets her top cut off, but Harold is going to miraculously still win. He's going to like go off a board, he's going to fly off, and he's still going to win the victory. So Lindsay and Duncan, this time I'm going to have them fail the challenge. So the Screaming Gophers now have to vote someone off, and I think it's going to be like Heather needs to be smart, and she needs to get rid of Noah, because Noah is a very good player. So he's going to have Lindsay go up to Trent, and he's going to talk about how like Noah wanted Cody gone because he feared his popularity, and Trent's going to be upset because Cody hooked him and Gwen up together in the beginning. So Trent's actually going to vote against Noah with Lindsay. So it's going to be a tie between Heather and Noah, because it's going to be 3 votes against Heather and 3 votes against Trent. 3 votes against Noah. So it's going to be a tie. And the tiebreaker would probably be like this extreme thing against Heather and Noah. And Noah is sadly going to lose the challenge just by like very small. But Noah's not done with Heather. Oh boy, he'll have his revenge. And if I do action, if you want me to do action. Then we get into the merge, and we're going to add 2 characters back. It will not be Eva. I'm adding Izzy and Lashana. This is my way. I can do whatever I want, so I'm adding back Izzy and Lashana. I think it's pretty obvious why I'm adding Lashana back. She's very like friends with Gwen, enemy against Heather. Pretty simple formula. But you would expect Lashana to win, but Heather, realizing she has a very high chance of getting voted off, is going to try really hard to stay in. And the 2 are going to be battling, and Heather's going to win by the very small percent. And Duncan's going to start to realize that Harold rigged the votes against Courtney. He's going to see how like suspicious Harold's been getting. So he's going to have the guys vote against him. And since there's no one really else to vote against besides like maybe Lindsay, I feel like most people would vote against Harold since he's not really a popular type of guy since Heather won. People are going to be a little bit dreading in season revival. It's going to be very clear that Heather's going to get Izzy on her side, because this was like something that was a little muffled in the season, because like Izzy was at one point just a part of Heather, but it's going to be very clear that Izzy's on Heather's side. But yeah, episode 14 is still going to be non-elimination. I didn't really mention that. Episode 16, the treasure chest thing. Heather is going to realize Chef would obviously be hiding the biggest reward, and she's going to get immunity before she does her stunt, because that would look stupid if she didn't get immunity before she does this stunt. So yeah, she's still going to kiss Gwen, Lashana's still going to spread the word, and Trent's going to be eliminated. I think it'd be much better if Heather gets immunity before this happens. There's still a little bit of time gap between this, you know? And by the way, I didn't really mention this, but Beth is kind of like in the alliance between like Bridget, because now Bridget's there with the girls from episode 14. There's kind of like a 4-way alliance that are mad against Heather since they chose over side with Heather and Lindsay. Anyways, episode 17, This one was the hide and be sneaky challenge. Still think Lashana's gonna win, and I'll have the rules be the same. And Heather's gonna rat out DJ, just DJ this time since Owens isn't gonna be there. Still think I'll hide on the roof. Duncan doesn't really need to form the boys' alliance since they're already kind of in an alliance, but he could if he wanted to. But yeah, so Heather and Lashana, they still have immunity for the challenge. So the person they're going to boot off, I think Heather, so they're going to have the meeting about how like there's way more us boys than there is girls, and how it would be smart to get rid of a boy. So Heather's going to want to get rid of DJ for a similar reason she wanted to get rid of Owen. So her, Lindsay, and Izzy are all going to vote against DJ. There's Gwen and Lashana, they're still going to want to get rid of Duncan. And the boys are going to want to get rid of Beth because, like, she's obviously like the odd one out, and like she doesn't really have anything going for her. So the 3 boys are going to vote against Beth. That's 3 votes against Beth. That's 3 votes against DJ. And this all like decides on who Bridget votes for. I feel like Heather would be able to convince her enough to vote DJ, or maybe if you want to say like Lashana a little, because like she has valid points. DJ is very like lovable by everybody. So DJ gets the vote by like a little bit. It's gonna be sad. DJ was a very good character. I want to go more in depth in him in action. If I'll do action, I'll probably have a poll if I'll do action or not. By the way, yeah, look at my community posts. Most of the people who watch my videos probably don't know I have community posts. That like what decides what next video I will do. Anyways, episode 18. This one is the bike challenge, is where everything goes down. This is a big difference in the thing. So what's gonna happen is it's gonna be the first part of the challenge. You're racing with your own bike because that was a stupid rule that should have been added. And like you have only a certain amount of time, and like the people, if you crash, you're still out. So the people that are gonna make it, it's still gonna be like Heather, Lindsay, Duncan. And Izzy's going to have to compete, so Izzy's probably still going to make it. And then Chris is going to give you an opportunity. You can either win $10,000, or the first person to win gets $10,000. But if you're the last person, you have to immediately get voted out, since this is going to like raise up the stakes. So Duncan, Heather, and Heather's going to force Lindsay to do this, since Heather really wants $10,000, because if she loses, she still gets $10,000. So it's going to be Heather's own greed that's going to set down to her downfall, because Duncan is going to win in this version, and then it's going to come down to Heather and Lindsay, and Heather's going to like mess Lindsay up so she loses, and then Lindsay freaks out at Heather. She's going to be like, "You little," and then she's going to start cursing at her and everything, and everybody will be cheering her on. It's like, yeah, go Lindsay, go, because like throughout the season, yeah, when Beth left, she's kind of gonna be like kind of edge Lindsay to vote off to go against Heather, since like Tyler, she said Tyler was in the game longer. She wanted to have more interest in Tyler, but Heather did not allow that. So Lindsay has been sick of Heather. She's gonna stand up to her once for all. I think it's gonna be even bigger and even more meaner to her than she was before. She still gets eliminated though, which is sad, and Duncan still gets $10,000. Moving on to episode 19, the horror challenge. It's still going to be like the first person that gets out. For this, I think it's going to be like either Jeff or Bridget, because they're still going to be making out. And it's going to be like, that's how they kind of set up for being making out a lot in action. Because now that this Bridget's still there, they're going to be liking each other a lot more. I do think it would rather be like they would run both directions, and Jeff would catch Bridget instead of Jeff, and Bridget would get eliminated, then Jeff. So Bridget's gone. It's sad, but we move on to episode 20. This is the hunting episode. This is the episode where Duncan realizes that he only has Jeff, and Jeff is very sad right now. So he needs to make an alliance with Heather. So now that Heather's all alone, she's obviously going to accept this alliance. She doesn't really have Izzy now, since she's a little bit of a wild ball, so it's like a little hard to tell. So yeah, she has Duncan now, which is going to be a good, and they're going to keep his spotline because they just completely forgot it in the next episode. Yay, isn't this fun? It's going to matter who actually wins this challenge. It's going to be Gwen. She's still going to win, because in the original, it doesn't really matter, because Gwen was in the bottom 2, and it was like why was she there if she didn't lose? Heather's still going to be mad at Beth for leaving her alliance, so she's going to tell Duncan to vote against her. Heather would still be able to get Lindsay on her side, but it's kind of be like the final time. Duncan would be able to convince Jeff to vote against Beth, since like that's what they were doing already, like back in episode 17. So Beth gets eliminated. It's sad, but she had her moment. She had her time to shine. Episode 21, the pairs are going to be Izzy and Heather, Duncan and Lashana, and Jeff and Gwen. I think it's pretty obvious who's going to win this. I feel like Heather's going to get sick of Izzy's craziness, and she's going to wish for the key. She's just done with Izzy. And I feel like Jeff and Gwen, they would lose the first part of the challenge, and Lashana and Duncan would, because Lashana was forcing Duncan to eat, and they also win the memory challenge. So they have immunity, and Duncan's going to convince Heather's going to convince Duncan to vote off Izzy. Jeff would be along with her, and it would be like a tie between Lashana and Gwen. But Izzy's kind of crazy, so like why would she vote off Heather? She's a little crazy. So Heather's going to tell Izzy to vote off Gwen with her, so she's safe from immunity. Izzy's probably going to do it. She might just vote someone random because she's Izzy. But yeah, she still gets eliminated. And we move on to episode 23. We're going to skip episode 22 because it should just end it without, like, anyone getting eliminated. It should have just been a chill episode where we see the eliminated contestants. By the way, Gwen and Jeff still have our, like, friendship. So when it comes down, like, who's winning this challenge, I don't think anybody's winning. I think they're all just going to scare Chris, who like, you know what? Nobody wins. And you're all at a stake for elimination. So when it comes down to, like, the voting system, Jeff is going to not want Lashana to go home, so he's going to vote for Gwen instead of Lashana. Maybe leaving, like, Duncan instead of Lashana, which means it's a tie between Lashana and Heather, which means there's going to be a tiebreaker, and I think Duncan's going to scheme to make sure Lashana gets the boot. So she gets eliminated, and we move on to episode 24. The teams will be Heather and Jeff, and Gwen and Duncan. And when it comes down to the winners, I think Gwen and Duncan, they're probably going to win. And this is where, like, their friendship is starting to bond, and, like, they start to become closer friends. So that, like, setups into action, which setups into World Tour. So, yeah, they're going to win the challenge. And when Chef's going to choose, he's going to choose Jeff because he's, like, too much of a party. And, like, the producer would probably not like it if they got rid of Heather, since she's causing a lot of drama right now. So it comes to episode 5. I feel like Duncan would be able to do these, like, awesome stunts and stuff. She still wouldn't, like, be really mad at Heather, but she would, like, allow the little bottles to go to Gwen, a little bit to go to Heather, because, yeah. Heather's still going to lose because of Lindsay's backfiring, which means that these are our final 2 of Gwen and Duncan. Yeah, that's my total drama my way. I feel like Duncan was more of a secondary villain. If you like this, comment down below that you like this, make a like, and if we hit 420 subscribers, if we don't hit 420 subscribers in 1 week, I chose a random number, 420, random number, I'm telling you, completely random, I will have to stop making videos if we don't reach 420, completely random number in a week. Bye. Look up at the community post, because I'm probably going to ask if you want to see total drama action. But yeah, bye.